All right. Hi, Rune. Hi, Luke. And Hassan. Thank you so much for joining me here today on Vonvo.com. Today's date is April 13th, 2013, and we're here to discuss the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I just want to let you know that right now this conversation is being recorded, and after the recording is complete, I'll be uploading this video to the internet to our YouTube channel. Is that fine with both of you?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, great. Hassan, is that okay with you?
Yeah, it is fine to me.
Okay, great. And one second. And Hassan, would you mind giving a quick background of yourself and then why you're so passionate about this conflict? And then Rune, you can go afterwards.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. I am Hassan. I am Palestinian, living in residence in Gaza Strip. I am a student of medicine, so just like considering in this conflict because in this issue, because I am Palestinian, so I would like, as a young man, to make progress in order to live in peace, both of us, like Palestinians. This is like my wish in the future. That.
Great. And Rune?
Yeah, yeah, I'm, the reason I'm passionate, if you want to take that as a point of view, is because I've been mystified by this conflict for many years, like so many people in the West. I went to Palestine a couple of years back, and I've been there like a few times since. So, I've spent since on the West Bank 2 years now. And obviously, there's a lot of impressions coming from that. It's when you're spending time on the West Bank, not to be emotionally involved as well. So there's a sort of like an automatic commitment that arises from spending time on the West Bank. To share what you've seen, to try and maybe justify some aspects of the conflict to where you can, to be back when you get back home, or of course you get passionate to communicate about it because the impressions there are very strong, and certain things just stay with you, like the inequality and the violence and the conditions under which Palestinians have to live, and the need to find a solution to
Right.
to divide the area with the rest of humanity, if you will.
Right. Okay. And Luke, do we have you back? Are you there, Luke? Luke, do you hear me? Not hearing Luke. His connection might be just messing up. Okay, so what I was going to say is, Hassan, you're in the Gaza Strip, you said. So can you tell us, really what your overall take is on this conflict, and who you think is really to blame, and what's your real overall analysis on this conflict?
Well, I can like explain the situation in Gaza. It's like too hard. Like for people, I think like you have in Gaza 1,000,006, 1,500,000, like let's say something like that, and all of them under the siege since than 8 years ago. This is illegal siege made by Israel. Also I can say that 60% from the population in Gaza Strip They have less than 18 years, so they are still like, let's say, young or children. And Israel make this siege on like the people who don't have fault, like the situation like in Gaza. I can explain like in 2009, it's the hardest time to me. Gaza war at the time, like Israel, they didn't differentiate between like civil people or not civil people. They attacked everything. Even they attacked the places, the governmental places, where's the schools beside. Like in 2009, when they started the war, I was in the school when Israel attacking the parliament in Gaza. So they didn't even differentiate between like civil people or governmental people, or even, let's say, as they say, like they're like their targets. My idea about the situation is like we need to work so hard in order to make progress. Like all the young people around me from Palestine, they started to give up, like to make peace in the region. Why? Because like we believe that Israel, they don't want to make peace, and one from these reasons, like Israel still continue make settlement in West Bank and Jerusalem, stealing the land, they still continue making the siege in Gaza Strip since 8 years ago. To me, as my special opinion, I'm still having the hope. I say that we should work in order to make peace. But now the most important is like Israel should like break the siege in Gaza Strip, let civil people live, let us to live like any other place in the world, and that's it. Sorry,
Right.
like my English is not that much, so I try to do my best to explain the speech.
That's fine. Luke, are you there by any chance? Do you hear us now?
Yes, I hear now.
Okay, great. And Rune, did you hear Hassan? I know I saw in the text chat you kind of didn't, but did you hear that afterwards?
No. No, I must admit I didn't hear it. I was really trying to listen. I could hear his voice far away, but what he actually said, I need to have it sort of perhaps just briefly summed up if that's possible.
Yeah, no, so basically, Hassan is living in Gaza, and he said that, a lot of his friends, some have given up hope on there being peace because of continuous settlement building and, things along that line. Luke, since you, happen to have a pro-Israeli stance, could you just, and then Rune will get to you after. Luke, would you mind just giving us your overall take on, the conflict in general, and were you able to hear Hassan? Were you able to hear what part of what he was saying when you got back in the room?
I was a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so would you mind just giving...
Yeah, so look,
Go ahead.
yeah, so look, I was very pleased to hear, Hassan, that you said that we should work for peace. And that is certainly the position of Israel. Israel wants peace. 98% of proposals for peace to end the Israeli-Palestinian conflict have come from Israel. If you go right back to the Camp David talks with Jimmy Carter, all of those proposals came from Israel. In the early 90s, Israel offered to meet more than 95% of Palestinian demands for a Palestinian state. Yasser Arafat sabotaged that. I feel sorry for you, Hassan, and I feel sorry for your friends that the Palestinian leadership continues to deny the
right of ordinary Palestinian people to live in peace. And if you look at Israel, what you see is a healthy, vibrant democracy. A democracy that wants to embrace people of all backgrounds. There are several cabinet ministers who are of an Arab background. There have been several Miss Israels who are Arab. Supreme Court justices. And Israel continues to extend peace. So I feel very, very sorry for ordinary Palestinians who are denied that opportunity to have peace by the leaders.
Right. So, Rune, do you want to come in here now and give us your overall take and react to any of the things which Luke just brought up?
Yeah, sure. I was hearing Luke very, very weakly. I don't know if I was the only one who had that problem. But in the beginning, one of the things I heard Luke say was he talked about the Camp David negotiations as an example of Israel's will to peace. So I heard that, so I'm just going to take that as a point of departure, if that's okay.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, first of all, I want to say this is important. I think when you talk about being pro this or pro that, I don't consider myself pro-Palestinian. And if you want to solve the problems of a certain area, you have to be, I don't know, pro-human or pro-justice, or not be pro one polarity, because whatever you think of how this situation came to be, you have plenty of opinions about that, and I have too, of course. If you're looking at solutions for peace, they have to be solutions for everybody involved. So the only solutions that would be relevant. Anyway, I just want to say that as a point of departure. But in terms of the Camp David, I really have a problem with that, because it's one of those claims that are often made that Israel made this generous proposal. In reality, it was a proposal not to 95% of the West Bank, but to 95% of the areas that were Palestinian at the time. It would have effectively cut the Palestinian areas of the West Bank into three different Bantustans. Jordan Valley would still be occupied, so that the Palestinian sovereign Palestinian territory would be a reservation, effectively enclosed within a greater Israel. One very important reference in this context is to Shlomo Ben Admi, a former Israeli minister who confessed openly in a famous interview on Democracy Now! That he would never have accepted Camp David had he been a Palestinian. It was simply a way of legitimizing a moderated version of the occupation. So I think we have to do away with these myths about the Israeli generosity in order to arrive at a proposal that's just for everybody involved.
Right. Luke or Hassan, do you want to comment on that?
Yes, I'd like to respond, and I think Rune needs a reality check with all due respect here, because let's, for example, Ehud Barak, who was Prime Minister in the early 2000s, he offered to withdraw Israel from 97% of the West Bank. 97%. And the Palestinian National Authority rejected that offer. Isn't it amazing? They offered them what they wanted, and they rejected it. Why did they reject it? They rejected it because the Palestinian leadership has a lot to lose from making peace with Israel. Ordinary Palestinian people have much to gain, but the leadership has a lot to lose because they have made their money, they have established their power through terrorism, through intimidation, through bullying, through continuing the conflict with Israel. So what you have here is a sane democratic state offering peace to a leadership which is engaged in acts of terrorism, which has no genuine desire to settle this process. Because if they do sue for peace, they'll be out of their job just like Mubarak is, just like Bashar in Syria will be out of his job soon. The ordinary Arab people in the Palestinian areas are the solution. They need to revolt and they need a new leadership which will listen to their aspirations to sue for peace. The Israeli public wants peace. 90% of Palestinians polled want peace with Israel, but probably less than 1% of the leadership really want peace because nobody's going to vote for them if there is peace, because they won't have any more reason to continue to be the leaders of the Palestinian areas.
Right. So, Rune or Hassan, do you want to comment on? Obviously, you guys can feel free to take this discussion wherever. I'm just here sort of to allocate time and address any questions that come up. Do you have any points that you want to, respond to Luke on, Rune or Hassan?
Sure, I can. Oh, Hassan, please go ahead. About borders where you have a Palestinian state very much like Gaza in the present, which would be surrounded, enclosed within a greater Israel, with no control over their own airspace, their own borders, their own territorial waters, if you include Gaza, and still crisscrossed by settlement access roads. Would not be a viable state. And then I referred to Shlomo Ben Ami, who confessed openly that if he had been a Palestinian, and this is a top Israeli politician confessing openly that had he been a Palestinian, he would never have accepted the offer at Camp David. Or like Nico Peretz said, it wasn't impossible for the Palestinians to accept less than the 1967 border solution,
right,
with possible land swaps. So the area was simply too essentially reduced to provide a viable state.
Right, Luke, do you have a response to that? Luke, are you there? I'm not sure why we keep losing him. He comes and then he goes. I don't know what it is. Guys, I'm sorry for the tech difficulties. I'm not sure why exactly it's taking place, but now he's gone again. so I'm not sure if it's on our end or on his end, but I'm sorry for that. Hassan, are you there? Do you hear me?
Yeah, I am there. Like I didn't hear all the speech which Ron said, but like I understand that he speak about Camp David agreement, or I don't know.
Yeah. Go right ahead. You can respond to whatever you might have heard.
Okay, well, Camp David agreement is like between Egypt and Israel. So this is like not considered about Palestinian-Israeli issue. Uh, but like I don't know, in Camp David, like Israel, they want to make a relation between some Arab countries which is neighbor to Israel. So because that they and they lost in the war which is in 1973. After that, so Israel obligated to leave Sinai desert and make peace agreement with Egypt. But about the agreement which is considered between Israel and Palestine, the Oslo agreement, I would like to hear his opinion about that Oslo agreement which is made between Yasser Arafat and Netanyahu, who was prime minister at that time.
Right. Luke, are you back?
Would like.
Luke, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Max.
All right. So, do you want to respond to what Rune was saying before you got disconnected? Did you hear what he had to say?
I heard some of what he said. Yes, I'd like to respond to that.
All right. Go ahead.
Look, what I think everybody needs to understand is if we look back to the Balfour Declaration of 1917, it was established by the international community that there would be a Jewish state in Palestine. Back then, the provisions for a Jewish state were much larger than they are now. And there was also a provision that there would be an Arab state as well. But that area of land included Jordan. In spite of the fact that provision of Jordan was later separated from the Balfour Declaration, the Jewish state of Israel has continued to make very generous offers to the Palestinians to end this conflict. Unfortunately, those generous offers continue to be rejected by the Palestinian National Authority because they have so much to lose from making peace with Israel. Like Mubarak or Gaddafi, their people don't really like them. But they put up with them because they keep the area in a situation of continuing conflict. The Israeli government, the Israeli people, and the Palestinian people want peace. But the Palestinian National Authority does not want peace because they will be out of a job if they sue for peace. For example, in 2000, through the Camp David talks at that time, Ehud Barak, who was then Israeli Prime Minister, offered to withdraw from 97 and 100% of the Gaza Strip. He also offered the Palestinians a contiguous
Luke, are you there? Did we lose Luke? Hey, Rune, do you hear Luke, or did we lose him again?
I think I lost him at about the same time you did. Suddenly his voice vanished.
Yeah, it's got to be his connection then on his end.
Okay.
I'm sorry because I wanted you to have a nice discussion with him, and it seems to just like go in and out. It works and then it kind of fades, right? Did you
Yeah,
have?
that's what happened.
Yeah, it happens. Not everyone's got the strongest internet. But what I was going to ask Grun is, from what he was saying, did you have anything that you wanted to react on? And I mean, we can, if you want to continue, we're welcome to. But if you want me to maybe slice and dice the videos that I have so far, and we can try and do this again next weekend or something, I'm happy to do that. But did you want to respond by any chance to anything we were saying?
Yeah, I'd be happy to be back next weekend because it's a very sort of discontinuous way of having discussion. But I think two is that the Palestinian Authority drew a very quick line declaration. Up to today, Israel had made offers rejected by the Palestinian Authority because the Palestinian Authority needed to stay in power, and then something about that they've been practicing acts of terrorism or something. I think that was the gist of Luke's document. But it's very hard to respond to that. One thing that can be very certain is that, and this is visible, for instance, through the Palestine papers of by Al Jazeera, that the Palestinian Authority has gone very, very far in accepting Israeli proposals, that they have not been generous, that they have not included 95% of the West Bank, and that in each given case they have the proposals have been, as I said, proposals in which a Palestinian state was both divided and enclosed within a greater Israel. This is very important for me to say, and you can say with absolute certainty that if the Palestinian Authority had put those proposals to the Palestinian people, they would not have stayed in power. The other argument that the PA had been engaged in acts of terrorism is very hard to take seriously, because now in Israel you have a state where several of its leaders have been openly admit to having been engaged in acts of terrorism. The occupation of the West Bank can be equated to daily terrorism against the population, and ever since Arafat recognized Israel, what he got for his troubles was another 750,000 settlers and a continuing annexation process of the West Bank in a unilateral process, which is not a generous offer, at all. So both in terms of what the Palestinian people want, they want peace, of course, or in terms of what is in the interest of the PA, I think Luke is just his basic claims are wrong. I could just as well claim, and actually I am claiming that the party that benefits from the lack of an agreement is the Zionist government, because as long as there's no peace agreement, the strongest party can continue the annexation of the West Bank, because they're the strongest party. Any peace agreement would have to take into account the history of the area, international law, all those tedious things that would mean that Israel would have to make concessions. Right now, that is not the case. And you can see that when you look at the proposals made by Israel, they would be impossible to accept. So if you propose solutions that are impossible to accept, you get to maintain the upper hand because you're the powerful party. I think that's what's really been taking place throughout the so-called peace, which has really been an annexation process.
Right. All right. Hassan, did you want to comment on anything that Rune just said? Hassan, you got to speak louder. I'm not hearing you.
Well, I think it's better like to postpone this to next week.
Okay.
Also, I can't hear the
Yeah, yeah. You know, we're definitely going to do that. All right. So, Rune, I know it's late by you. Let me allow you or give you permission to go to sleep. I'm sorry for the tech difficulties. Um, and Hassan, thank you for staying up as well. Luke just messaged me on Facebook saying that it's his internet, it's timing out. But I can merge something together for each of you guys with what I have and just cut out what was going wrong. And I'll touch base with you each this week. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
No problem. Let's try again next weekend so we can have a proper discussion.
Yeah, I'll have someone for you without a doubt.
Thanks a lot, man.
You got it. Have a good night, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.